Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is an E3 2017 trailer analysis of Extinction. This is a game that had a little bit of footage shown at the press conferences, I think, but nothing too major. This was a video released afterwards with the developer commentary, hence why I've removed it, and it's going to be me discussing this now, slowed down a little bit, and I've got a bit of music in the background so that it's not just dead air. So I believe that this is coming from, is it Iron Galaxies, the people who have taken over Killer Instinct, and it is a third-person character action game-esque with RPG elements and various other things. And the initial phase of the video here is showing this pre-alpha footage of the mobility in the game. Your character seems rather capable. He's hopping on top of canopies and rooftops and air dashing and double jumping and wall running, so there seems like there's definitely an eye for traversing this game world, which gives the illusion that we're going to be doing a lot of mobility, a lot of movement, a lot of big areas, a lot of traversal options. And here is he using some kind of hookshot / grappling hook. And if you don't know what this game is, it's pretty much, everybody keeps calling it like Attack on Titan's ogre version, which I find to be quite hilarious. Like, fucking Attack on Titan created folklore giants. Like, it's so hilarious, isn't it, the internet, how it works. But you are part of this order of people who defend our realm, or whatever, probably, and you kill these big dudes as well as fighting little dudes, it seems. And at this particular part of the gameplay, it mentions killing off the giant's minions, this ogre's minions. So that's what the character's doing here, and it's showing you that the combat has hit stun, so it makes each of those hits feel like they connect. It gives you a nice piece of haptic feedback, and from here he's launching them into all kinds of helm breakers. It's showing the visual style here of the gore, the charge attacks in midair, which look really nice and definitely remind me of Jetstream Sam. And here he's doing some cancels out of his attacks, cancelling backwards with the dodge, back into a combo. Not too sure if they're incorporating the dodge offset made popular by Bayonetta, but it could be interesting if they do. But they're just kind of giving us this impression that there's going to be depth and complexity to the combat. These people have made fighting games in the past, so they understand about complexity, about simple systems, but with deep mechanics. And then he comes over to this big ogre-looking Warhammer 40k motherfucker, who is smashing rubble, crushing with his fists, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's introducing us to the Shadow of the Colossus kind of concepts of how to take on these giant enemies. So we saw that the movement is varied enough to give you multiple approaches, and you'll also see here that I don't know if this camera is a set angle and it goes into these kind of cinematic angles when you go up against this big fella, but the camera at this point seems very specific, doesn't it? It's specific with this large enemy in mind. And then he jumps forward here, charges the attack, and then destroys this piece of armor on the ogre's leg, the orc's leg, sorry. I don't really know what this fella is, just a big green dude, this Shrek looking mofo. And then he jumps again, and you can see him picking where to cut here, his blade mode engaged with the charge attack, and then he cuts the foot in a nice splash of gore, and then a weird, like, disappearing animation on the limbs, which kind of looks a little crappy in my opinion. I would have preferred it if the leg hung around a bit longer before evaporating, but I can understand why they're probably doing it that way. It's quite a lot on screen, it's quite a big and open area, and they want to keep it as smooth as they can make it. As he cuts the second limb here, as the enemy's on the floor now, sitting on its ass, having trouble, and he's using this moment of vulnerability against the beast to continue to just crush its limbs. And it seems rather simple at this point, doesn't it? He's doing these charge attacks, he's getting rid of the armor, he's running on the beast's arms and legs, and then he's finishing off the limbs. I'd be curious to know, do you have to cut all the body parts, or is this guy just, you know, essentially teabagging this giant to show how good he is at the game and what you can do to these people as he starts to ascend his back here? With his Christmas tree there of muscles and his separation and conditioning, this dude works out, and then he comes in for the coup de grace, and he takes the head, which I thought this was going to be the biggest jet of ridiculous blood, just streaking arterial spray everywhere, dousing the entire village. It'll take him a week to clean it up, but it just vanishes. Watch this. He charges a super hit and does a nice little pirouette, and then the head comes off, and like, look, what is this? Is this the PG version? What's that about, dude? Did you just 3D print him and then 3D delete him? I don't like that. That needs to be more visceral, come on. And I appreciate it's pre-alpha, but when I chop the head off a giant ogre, I want to see a rainforest get fed for a week with Crimson. I just do. But here again with this specific camera, as the character runs towards it, it does a double jump to get over the sweep. This guy looks like he's got a bit more armour on him. He's clad in some kind of gilded gold, and it's embedded with jewels and all kinds of wonderful things. You can even see the stitchings on his pants. You know, this guy's been to a seamstress in his life. He's got it tailored. And then he comes down with a foot stomp. I wonder how that stuff affects you, because one of the things that bugs me the most when you fight anything big is when they move and it affects your character's mobility, and even worse so, if it hurts you. You know how in the Chalice dungeons on Bloodborne, when the bloodletting beast stomps around and moves his legs, he can hurt you? That shit's garbage. We need to get rid of that. There needs to be like some kind of conference, some kind of meeting where we all agree and we just delete it. But this guy seems a bit more capable as he's going for these dashes, and here he comes again streaking in with a slashing attack, and it was not effective, which leads me to believe the lock-on seems to be saying your dog hit the jewel, so maybe the jewel is the weak spot on these particular shin guards? I'm not too sure. Or maybe I have to cut it from behind. But the camera seems super fixed, doesn't it? And I don't know if it's the guy not turning it, or if this is all just cinematic lock-on so that you can keep the beast in vision at all times. I'm very curious to see where that goes. But, oh, there you go! Can he cut the bracket? Oh, that's sweet. I don't think I noticed that the first time I watched this. So he's literally cutting the connectors that keep the bracelet fastened onto his shin. That's really smart. That's such a nice touch and a nice detail. I wonder what the gems mean then. Do you think the gems are just enabling him to grapple hook or something? Here it comes again stomping. Can't tell if there's iframes in the jump or if this demo's on piss easy mode or god mode in a debug menu so that this guy can look really good, but that looked to me like it should have hit him big time. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it, where this gameplay is going to go? Because this looks sweet and it's got some puzzle solving elements, but it is fundamentally simple in a lot of ways. How many of these ogres are they going to have? These giants, these golems, whatever you want to call them. Guy goes for the hand splat, misses, and here he goes again trying to break the bracket on his wrist. Breaks the bracket. Comes down with a big splat. Jumps again and is not getting touched. But I suppose we need to think of it like this, don't we? The game will probably look vastly different by the time it comes even closer to being released, because it's still pre-alpha. And I think it's early 2018 apparently, so it's some ways away. But I'm hoping they change the HUD. I do not like the Shadow of Mordor kind of weird map and HP thing in the bottom right. It's one of my pet peeves that I don't like that kind of display of information to the player. As he cuts the arm finally and we get a nice cascade there of droplets, and this dude just... Can we rob him? Can you steal from his little pouches? That'd be hilarious. Something I don't want to see with this is while this is happening, if anything destroys the town, you fail. Like, you know the idea of you have to stop these big dudes from destroying civilization, and if they cause too much damage, it's a fail state? I hate that kind of design. It reminds me of Zone of the Enders 1 on hard, when you had to do those stupid missions and protect all those colonies, and they sucked. They always suck, they'll always suck, and unless we do something drastically different, I don't imagine that's going to change anytime soon. But here he comes again with these lovely looking charge attacks, taking out the bracket on his helmet. This dude's got some serious, like, blackheads on his back. You want to get that sorted out, fella. That's making me itch. Look horrible. What's with the... You got to cleanse those paws, dude. And he's getting attacked by some kind of bird creature now. I don't know where this guy came from. Isn't doing a very good job, though, and he's about to deliver the decapitation to sunder the final... Oh, he does a nice little backwards flip into the charge attack. It pulls out. The motion blur is going crazy. Edge of the screen is, and there he goes again, pirouetting into the cut, and then he, look, come on now, that is not satisfying, guys. Are we going for a PG or something? I want to see the head come off. That's the bit we like. Remember Game of Thrones episode 1? The head came off. And there you go, guys. Story-driven campaign, side quests, daily challenges, custom battles, and extinction mode, which is probably just a survival mode. But I saw the CGI trailer for this game, and I thought it looked like shit. I didn't think it looked good at all. I'm so happy to be completely changing my perspective. I think that looks really fun. Is that a launch exclusive? What the hell does that even mean? Thank you for watching. You take care now.